The Holy Gospel according to Luke, the 10th chapter. Now, as Jesus and his disciples went on their way, he entered a certain village, where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister named Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to what he was saying. But Martha was distracted by her many tasks. So she came to him and asked, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her then to help me." But the Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and distracted by many things. There is need of only one thing. Mary has chosen the better part, which will not be taken from her." The Gospel of the Lord. If you are not a big fan of conflict, and I don't know many people who are, you probably wouldn't want to accept a dinner invitation to the home of Mary and Martha. These two sisters never seem to agree on anything. Martha is the one who today takes the initiative, welcomes Jesus into her home, and begins preparing for him as fancy a meal as she possibly can. There is nothing unusual about this, says Dr. Thomas G. Long. Showing hospitality, welcoming guests, feeding them well were very important virtues in that culture, and Martha is doing her best. However, as Long points out, all of the adult women were expected to share in the preparation of a meal. And therein lies the rub. Mary chooses not to help out, but instead she listens quietly at Jesus' feet, like a student or a disciple would. And there she is, listening intently to what Jesus is saying. We don't see that for the radical gesture it is. For what Mary does is unheard of for women in those times. For to sit at someone's feet was the posture of a disciple, and it was a place reserved for men. Women did not sit at the feet of rabbis to learn from them. Martha is carrying on the traditional role of a woman, seeing to the tasks and duties of the household. But Mary, in this story, sitting at Jesus' feet and listening to him, is taking on the traditional role of a man. Suddenly, there is more conflict arising from this simple dinner party. Mary is challenging not only her sister, but the established order. What looked like a simple dinner party when we came in the door is turning into a major kerfuffle. Not only challenging Martha's ability to get dinner on the table, but the norms of their society. And we may be tempted to take up sides. The church has. Commentaries I read this week have said stuff like, the story of Mary and Martha highlights the overriding importance of devotion to the Lord's Word as an expression of one's love for God. That's how we've always heard the story. Mary, sitting there at Jesus' feet, is the faithful one, while Martha, out there in the kitchen, is working her own agenda. That's the way the story has been always interpreted, but I'm with the 19th century poet who ends the sonnet Martha and Magdalene with Martha snapping back at Jesus, "So say you, but I know better. Listen, if I sat back on my salvation the way she does, who'd keep this house together? Or as a friend of mine once said about this text, I always come away from it feeling like I never get things right. If I'm like Martha and work hard, I'm over-functioning. And if I'm like Mary and just sit around, nothing gets done. The temptation for us is to choose up sides, like the slogan from the movie Eclipse of the New Moon Saga. Team Edward, Team Jacob, the time has come to choose. This is not Team Mary, Team Martha. What kind of disciple will you be? Take that tack, and you miss the whole point. I must confess, however, that I would be on Team Martha, because for a pastor, a church full of Team Marys would be a disaster. But there is another choice, and it comes in understanding what Jesus says to Martha. Dr. Eugene H. Peterson, in his paraphrase of the scripture called The Message, has Jesus say, Martha, dear Martha, you are fussing too much and getting yourself worked up over nothing. Peterson got the sense of the passage perfectly in his paraphrase, because the Greek word that Luke uses literally means to be pulled from all directions.